Hey everybody, it's Jerry, and today we're going to make one of my all-time favorite meals, lasagna. Who doesn't love lasagna, right? And this is just a very traditional lasagna with a meat sauce, and we're going to make an 8-inch lasagna in an 8-inch square baking dish. If you want to make a larger one, if you want to use a 9 by 13, just basically double everything, and you'll have the same thing, same bake times and everything. So let's get started. We're going to start out by taking one package of plant-based ground beef. This is Impossible, but you can use whatever brand you prefer. And place it in a hot skillet and just brown the meat just enough until it's all nice and brown. And then you can set that aside. And we're going to take a large saucepan and put a couple of tablespoons of olive oil in it, heat it up, and take one chopped onion, add that into the pot. And we're just going to cook the onions for about 5 minutes until they're translucent. And then we're going to add 4 or 5 garlic cloves that have been minced and cook that for another minute. And this is all over medium heat. And then we're going to add in 3 pounds of Roma tomatoes, which have been deseeded and chopped. And then we're going to add 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of salt, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. This is just freshly ground black pepper. Mix everything up and just let that simmer for about 45 minutes over low heat. Meanwhile, we're going to take 2 cups of cashews that have been soaked overnight and then drained and washed and rinsed, and we're going to add them with a 1/2 cup of water into a food processor or blender, along with 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast, 2 tablespoons of miso, one or 2 garlic cloves, depending on size, and 1 teaspoon of dried parsley. And we're just going to grind everything together until it's nice and smooth, and go ahead and scrape down the sides as needed until everything is nice and even and smooth. And that's going to be our ricotta cheese for the filling. Now we're going to take our cooked sauce, put it in a blender, and just blend it until it's nice and smooth and pureed. And then we're going to pour it back into the pot, add in our ground beef, mix that together, and continue cooking that until it's your desired thickness. Probably another 10 or 15 minutes. Now we have our lasagna noodles, which have been cooked for only about 3 minutes in boiling water. You just want them just enough to be pliable. And we're going to cut them to the size of the baking dish. Now I only have 7 noodles here, and you'll see why in a minute. So now we're going to take some of the sauce and spoon it on the bottom of the baking dish. And we're going to start with our leftover pieces from the noodles, and this will give us our 2 missing noodles because we need 9 total. So we started with 7. We're going to take the pieces of 2 of them to create 2 of them, and so we're going to layer the noodles over the sauce and then put some more sauce on top of that. And then we're going to take half of our cheese mixture and spoon that on top of the sauce. spread everything out so it's covering the whole surface. And then we're going to layer another layer of noodles on top. I like to alternate the direction of the noodles. And then more sauce on top of that, and we're just going to repeat what we did before with the next layer. And then the remaining cheese filling on top of the sauce. Spread it out. And the last layer of noodles on top of that. Again, I'm changing the direction. And then spoon the remaining sauce on top. And finally, we're going to take some liquid mozzarella. Now, this is Miyoko's liquid mozzarella, which I highly recommend. It'll really give you the best topping for the lasagna. And you're going to pour about a half a cup of it on top to cover the surface. You can use more or less depending on how much you like that. And bake that at 350 degrees for about 50 to 55 minutes until it's nice and browned. And let it cool for about 15 minutes. And it's ready to serve. Thanks everybody for watching. Please tune in next time for some more recipes, and remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you then.